Hey friends, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Erin. I'm a certified personal trainer and I spent 13 years in multi-level marketing myself before I got out and started creating content to expose the manipulative tactics these companies use. Now I use this channel to break down their misinformation while also sharing evidence-based health and wellness that you can actually trust. Today we're going to be diving into the latest video from Tony Zolecki. Yes, the same Tony who came out of Modair, landed in Nueva, and the shenanigans are continuing, I guess is the best way that I want to say that. He's been in multi-level marketing for over 30 years, according to him. That's not a compliment, Tony, relax. And if you've watched my channel before, you know I've covered him and Nueva and Modair pretty extensively. Just check the playlists. Now, Tony isn't just posting his opinions online. He's also tried reporting other creators for privacy violations when he's broadcasting things like this all over his public social media platform. Why am I telling you this? Just some quick little background on Tony. Also, spoiler, if you voluntarily step in front of the camera and brand yourself, you're not a private individual. That's just not how that works. And let's not forget, Tony is tied to the same company, Nueva, where someone literally hired another person, allegedly, to mass report creators with bogus copyright claims. How do I know that? Because I was one of those creators. All have been reversed. And why? Well, because fair use exists, because reacting, critiquing, and educating is protected speech. But instead of addressing the real issues in multi-level marketing, they try to silence criticism. Weird. That sounds like it's kind of a common theme right now. That tells you everything, doesn't it? So today we're going to go through Tony's latest video line by line, and I'm going to point out every piece of misinformation, every manipulative tactic, every recycled strategy. This is going to be kind of a no holds barred kind of video. So it should be a good time, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Before we dive into Tony's video though, and trust me, it's quite the sight, let me tell you, I want to take a quick minute to talk about today's sponsor. And honestly, this one hits home for me because it's something I wish I had had when I left multi-level marketing. When I walked away from multi-level marketing in 2021, I had boxes of product on my counter I couldn't sell and a credit card bill that made me dread checking the mail. And please don't even get me started on the merch that I bought from Prove It. Don't even get me started on that. If you've been there, or maybe you're there right now, just know I get it. And I know how heavy that feels. And let me just say that you're not alone. MLMs love to sell you on the idea that buying products is an investment in your future. They'll tell you that it's a part of being a serious business owner. But what actually happens, most of us will end up with more debt than we started with. And then comes the big question. Where do you even begin to dig yourself out of it? That's why I'm so glad to be partnering with Debbie. It's not another side hustle. It's not about selling more of your stuff. It's an actual tool that helps you get your finances back on track without shame and without feeling overwhelmed. With Debbie, you can set goals for paying off debt, managing your spending, and even starting to build savings. And here's the part that I absolutely love. It shows you exactly how long it will take and what small changes can speed up the process. It's not about hype, it's about facts, numbers, and data, which if you know this channel, you know that's exactly how we roll over here. You can start today. Just download Debbie and go to joindebbie.com/AaronBees. They'll give you $5 to kick things off. And that's real money towards your goals, not something fake that your former upline was dangling in front of you as a possibility. And here's the thing. You can't change the past, but you can absolutely take control of what happens next. And it really does start with one small step. A huge thank you to Debbie for sponsoring today's video. Check out the pinned comment for the link and all the details. I'm so excited for you guys to have something that truly helps you move forward with your finances. Now, let's get into Tony's video. Shall we?
Hey everybody, Tony Zolecki here, and today's video we're going to be talking about how to get runners on your team, rock stars on your team, and the secret to that. Because here's what I know, being in the space for over 30 years, is that you don't need hundreds of rock stars. You don't. You need a few of them. A few runners can make you 6, 7, 8 figures in this business. So again, I'm Tony Zolecki. I've been in the space of network marketing now, gosh, for over 30 years.
Tony, you already said that. Okay, just relax. Okay, this is classic bait, what he's doing here. The whole 6, 7, 8 figures, all you need is a couple runners, blah, blah, blah. We've heard this before. I've said this before in multi-level marketing. It's classic bait. It makes the opportunity sound smaller, easier, and more achievable. He is basically saying, don't worry, you don't need an army, just a few people and you'll be rich. Now, did he say those words exactly? No, but that's what he's implying here. But what he's really describing is the exact math problem of multi-level marketings or within multi-level marketing companies. For one person to hit 6 or 7 figures, you need hundreds, sometimes thousands of people underneath you losing money. And the fallacy here is the appeal to simplicity. He frames the problem as easy to solve if you just find those magic runners, but there are no magic runners. What you actually have is endless recruiting, constant attrition, and a structure where 99% of people lose money. And here's something also interesting. For every top leader bragging about rock stars, there are hundreds of people stuck with product debt and credit card balances. And that's the side Tony never talks about. That's the side that no MLM leader is going to talk about. That would be too revealing. It's a whole don't look behind the curtain to see that the wizard is actually a man kind of moment. You know what I mean?
And I love helping people. I love building out teams. I love creating energy and excitement around my business every single day. So everything that I'm going to talk about today when it comes to these strategies of finding runners, creating runners, and really having a business that just is so exciting, I am doing every single day. Now, here's the thing. If you've been in network marketing for a short amount of time, if you've been in network marketing for a couple of years, or maybe like me, you've been in network marketing for decades, this is a topic that comes up all the time because people will always say, Tony, oh, by the way, hey, replayers, how you doing? If you're new to my channel, put new in the comments. But people say all the time to me, it's like, gosh, how do I motivate my team? How do I find rock stars? How do I find runners? If that is you, put a fire emoji in the comments. Because I remember when I got started in the business, I didn't know how to find runners. I didn't know how to go and find people that wanted this business more than me. I didn't know how to keep my team motivated. I was doing all the things that I shouldn't be doing that was trying to motivate my team when none of that stuff was working. So here's the biggest thing that I learned in this business is that you can't drag people across the finish line here if they don't want it. You just can't, because you know what it does? It drains all of your energy. It stalls your growth. The business isn't exciting anymore because all you do is you spend time dragging people in this business. And here's what I want to tell you is that if you're dragging people in this business, you won't be in this business for a long, in too much time because you're going to just work yourself out of the business. You're going to say to yourself, hey, you know what? I don't like this. I'm not excited anymore. Man, I'm not having fun anymore. So what you've got to do is you got to find the people that you want to pour into. Because if you're motivating people every single day in your team and nothing's really happening, those aren't your people. Those aren't your runners. Like, we love everybody. We want to set up a culture. We want to set up a community. We want to set up systems so that people can win 24/7, right? I think it's our job to be the best sponsor and to be the best leader out there is to set up an environment where people can win and they can flourish and they can just have success and they can go out there and change lives. And if they want to make a lot of money, they can make a lot of money. If they don't want to make a lot of money, they don't need to make a lot of money. But what your job is to do is to look for the runners. So who do you know that's in your business right now that's showing up all the time? What do I mean by that? Is that they're on the calls, they're promoting events, they're loading people into the opportunity Zooms that you're doing every single week. They're putting people into the groups. They're ATMing, right? They're always on the leaderboards. They're selling product. They're recruiting people, right? Who is showing up? Who is asking questions? I love when people ask me questions. You know why? Because it tells me that they're hungry.
Do you, Tony? Do you actually love when people ask you questions? Because my inbox and the people that have shared information about being coached by you say otherwise. So that's really interesting. That's the word I'm going to use there.
Tells me that they want to learn. It tells me that they want to grow. It tells me that they want to get better at this business. It tells me that they want to get to another level, right? So when people are asking you questions, know that is a sign that maybe you should spend a little bit of time there if these questions are questions that can really help them move the dial, right? And get them to a new place in their business. Get them to just fired up again, or maybe over to another rank, or get them to show up at an event with more people, right? That's a good sign. People that are taking action, right? I always look at the people that are taking action, because even if they're not getting results, they're trying. They're facing their fears. They're talking to people. They're trying to get people into, the business, or get them using the product, or get them to an event, right? Like, they're trying to do it. So what you have to do is this, and someone put this in the comments, please, is that you want to water the seeds that are growing, not the ones that are dead. Let me say that again. Water the seeds that are growing in your business, not the ones that are dead. So another
I'm sorry. I had to do that. I'm sorry. Now, all of this may sound somewhat motivational, I'm sure, but here's the real message. Ignore the majority of your team. He's teaching people to cut off support for anyone struggling and only pour effort into the few who are already making money for their upline. That is classic MLM churn cycle in plain English. Bring in a ton of people, burn them out, then drop them the second they stop producing. This is why so many ex-MLMers say they felt disposable. This is a perfect example of that. And here's the really gross manipulation tactic here. It's false compassion. He says things like, "We love everybody, but," and then follows it up with a directive to abandon the majority of your team. It's not about love, it's about profit in multi-level marketing. And unfortunately, the majority of people in multi-level marketing will never profit. But Tony is, because he brought people over from Modere. Yeah, allegedly, and in my opinion. Okay, let's see what else he has to say.
Tip I want to give you when you're finding incredible rock stars in your business is that a lot of you have them and a lot of you suffocate them, where you want to do everything for them, right? Where you just want to say, hey, I'll show you where everything's at. I'll answer every single question about every single thing. I want to do all the calls. I don't want you to, have to go and try to figure this out on your own. And you come into this management mode, and it really just strangles that person's growth. It strangles their, activity. It doesn't give them a path to run on and really win on. And you just can't do that. The best thing you can do in your business is, you don't want to be the crutch for people, is you want to guide them. You want to encourage them. You want to let them grow through action. Somebody put this in the comments. Let your team grow through action, right? Here's the thing. Ask questions instead of giving them all the answers all the time. One of the things I love doing is asking questions, because I want them to start thinking and using their brain, right? I want them growing into leadership. I want them kind of facing some of the things that they don't want to face, because a lot of times the things they're avoiding the most are their biggest breakthrough. Now, let me ask you a question. What are you avoiding the most right now? And and if you want to put it in the comments, put it in the comments.
Tony, what are you avoiding the most right now? I would love to know, because I would say it's probably facts, but let me know, guys. What do you think Tony is avoiding the most right now? Oh my God. Okay, let's double back to this whole be the guide, not the crutch thing. On the surface, perhaps there are people that might find this encouraging. I mean, independence and being independent, I should say, is totally fine. But in MLM context, that's code for don't actually train or support people in a meaningful way. Why? Well, because real training doesn't scale, doesn't move up the ranks, as they say in multi-level marketing, the scaling part. So instead, leaders give vague pep talks and push reps to figure it out, much like we're hearing from Tony, which usually means exhausting their own friends and family. And when they fail, the blame is shifted back onto them. Let me know in the comments, is this something that you experienced when you were a part of multi-level marketing, or did you watch somebody go through this? Because this is a perfect example of responsibility shifting. The upline takes credit when someone succeeds, but when someone fails, it's spun as their lack of leadership, their mindset, they're lazy, things of that nature. It's never the system, it's never the compensation plan, it's never the company's fault, it's always the rep's fault. And I find that fascinating.
But there's been things I've avoided a long time in this business. And those were the things for me that if I really didn't avoid them and attacked them and basically faced them head on, they were my biggest breakthroughs. They were what I needed at the time I needed it inside my business. So for a lot of times, we give people, all of us, 24/7. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves trying to motivate them every day. We try to do all the work for them every day. We try to talk for them every day. We try to show up for them every day. We try to be visible for them every day. We try to do all this stuff, and you get frustrated because you're like, man, I'm doing all this stuff for my person or for my team or for this person specifically, and it's not working. They're not, hey, Amanda, they're not like taking it and running with it and going crazy with it. Like, why aren't they doing it? And it's because you're doing way too much. Like, one of the things I learned in this business is that you've got to let people experience the good, the bad, the ugly, the ebbs, the flows, the ups, the downs. You got to let them experience it all. You got to let them feel some of the pain in this business. I remember some of my biggest breakthroughs early on in network marketing was when people that I wanted them to do all the work for me and make it, not painful and just as easy as possible, growth as fast as possible, stories happening left and right. Like, I wanted all that. And I remember some of the best people I ever worked with, they didn't give me it. You know what I mean? They guided me. They encouraged me. They gave me exactly what I needed as far as the blueprint, but they made me work through my own stuff. They made me face the fears. They made me do the presentations when I didn't want to do them. They made me have the conversations when I didn't want to have the conversations with the prospects. They made me do some of the follow-ups I was scared to do. They made me say some of the things I was afraid to say. They pushed me ever so slightly into my business every single day, but I was doing the work. I was going through, the steps and the motions and the actions, and sometimes it was ugly. Sometimes it was great. Sometimes I got the result I wanted. Sometimes I didn't get the result I wanted. But you know what? It brought me in. And, if you saw me at 19 years old when I started network marketing, I wasn't a rock star. I wasn't this person that came in and made 10 grand a month, 6-7 figures right away. I was far from that. But I was able to develop into a rock star over the years because people kind of made me figure this thing out.
You know what I'm sitting here thinking as I'm listening to this? I don't even know what I want to call it right now. I feel like these are the same people that will talk about being a servant leader in multi-level marketing, which means serving your people, whatever they need help with, you help them. But then in the same sentence or the same training, they'll say, oh, you've got to, let people figure it out on their own. And then also he's mentioning all these activities that a normal business owner would do. And I just find it so interesting, and I'm having a hard time kind of putting it all together. I hope you guys are getting what I'm saying here, because these are off of my notes, but I just find it interesting. Well, are you a servant leader, or are you somebody that just lets people figure it out? Are you supposed to water the trees that are growing and forget about the ones that are dead or dying? It's very deceiving. And I feel like it's an interesting example of moving the goalpost, specifically on servant leader versus, oh, let them figure it out. Let them figure it out. And then also if you're running any kind of a business, and we know that multi-level marketing is not their own business, they're an independent contractor, but they cosplay, in my opinion, as a business owner. So those are all things that he just mentioned, giving the presentations, following up, those types of things. Anybody that's in a normal sales type business that they own and operate is going to do a lot of those things. They're going to do the marketing, they're going to do the pitches, they're going to do the follow-up. I don't know. I don't even know if that's making sense, but I just find that really interesting. And it was really loud. You could probably see it on my face as I was watching. I'm like, but then this,
Now, again, they didn't leave me high and dry, and there's a fine line to this business, right? Where you don't want to just leave people alone and just not communicate with them, not guide them, not encourage them, and just forget all about them, right? Because that doesn't work here either. So you want to be there for them, but again, you don't want to be their crutch, because if you're their crutch, they're going to have you do more and more and more and more and more and more and more for them. And guess what's going to happen? They're not going to do much. And they're going to want you to keep doing more and keep, putting people in their group and keep sponsoring more people for them and keep helping them build a bigger check and keep helping them, do everything that they should be doing for their business. Now, remember, this is our own business. We've got to figure this out.
Okay, first of all, Tony, if it's your own business, why are you not in Modere anymore? Oh, because Modere decided to close, which meant all of the independent contractors no longer were working for that company. Maybe they weren't employees. But Tony, did you make the decision for Modere to close? No, you didn't. You allegedly didn't even know about it. I mean, I'm sure you knew the numbers were dropping, the lawsuits and things, with Justin Prince and things of that nature over the years, but you didn't make the decision. So how can you get on here and I don't even know what word I want to use here. He's propping himself up like he's the one that did all of this stuff. And it's normal behavior if you actually own a business. I don't know. I'm having a hard time putting this into words. I'm sure you guys are getting what I'm saying. I just find this really interesting how I can see multiple things that have happened that I have said that I've been taught when I was in multi-level marketing. And it's like, well, which is it, Tony? Are they business owners or are they not? Because you wouldn't be in Nueva. Nueva wouldn't even exist if Modere was still around. That's a decision that an actual business, a predatory business, Modere made to close. So that proves that you're not a business owner.
Out, right? Now, again, this was another big defining moment for me. I had to get back to personal production years ago because I wanted a great team, but to get a great team, you got to keep building. To get great people inside your business, you got to keep recruiting people. To create these big customer pods and all these raving customers, you've got to bring new customers into your business all the time. Like, this is how this works. It's not like you recruit a month and then you don't recruit ever again. Or you don't focus on customers, just for the next couple weeks and never focus on customers again.
Would anybody else love to see Tony and Sarah's numbers from Modere? And what I mean by that is how much volume they had in their customer pods and how much, breaking down the revenue, the commission checks, if you will. How much of that came from customers? How much of that came from having a team? Because I guarantee you the majority of Tony and Sarah's checks, because they allegedly did have multiple positions. They were taught that, in my opinion, allegedly. Anyways, I would love to see that breakdown because I guarantee you the majority of their income is coming from having a team. In Modere. In Nueva, we don't know because they just started in May or something. I would love to see that. If you guys have any information about that, screenshots, that kind of thing, I would love to see those. And if you have anything that you want to send me, erinbees.com is how you can do that. And that's linked in the video description.
If you look at the people that are rock stars inside this business, and I could look around the whole profession, here's what I know they do 24/7, is they always get back to personal production, and they never fall into this management mode trap for too long. And if they do fall into it, a lot of times they catch themselves and say, oh my gosh, why is my energy off? Why is this business getting fun anymore? Why do I feel like I'm doing all this stuff that I'm not excited of doing right now? It's because they fall into management mode. So they go back and go, you know what? How can I get back into personal production? How can I get back on the leaderboard? How can I get back into enrolling new lines, getting new volume in my business, right? Getting new people started with me. How can I actually lead out and be the big example for my team, for the company, for the people that are around me and that are working with me?
Oh my God. This is one of my favorite manipulations, I feel like, where Tony is saying here that leaders should always get back to personal production. Sounds like, decent advice, right? But, keep leading by example. But I feel like we should decode it because this is very MLM speak of him. Personal production means never stop recruiting, always keep bringing in fresh bodies, as they refer to it. That sounds terrible, but that is true. That is said in multi-level marketing. This is the beating heart of multi-level marketing. It's not about selling products, because if the product was enough, you wouldn't need endless recruiting. But the only way volume keeps climbing is if new recruits are constantly fed into this predatory system. And that, my friends, is exactly how an alleged pyramid structure functions.
This is so crucial. So just because you bring some people in and they're not quote unquote rock stars, it's either A, you've got to keep bringing more people in, you haven't found them yet, or B, you got to stop being their crutch and you got to let them grow into this business, because they can turn out to be your rock star. One of the biggest lines that you've ever had in your business. That's how this business works. And again, to make 6, 7, 8 figures in this business, and some of you know this, you don't need hundreds of lines. You don't. You need a handful of incredible lines, right? Supported with a bunch of other people around those people.
Did you hear that? You need a handful of rock stars and a group. I don't remember the exact word he used. A group of people around them supporting. What do you think the group of people around them supporting is? People that typically on income disclosure statements in these MLM companies are the ones losing money, but that keep ordering the products to fund the lifestyle of the upline that in turn makes them look like rock stars. It's a perfect example of that endless chain. It's a perfect example from his mouth of what actually happens with the majority of people in multi-level marketing. I don't know that anybody would have caught that. I mean, because the call is coming from inside the house,
How this works. So you've got to look at, okay, how do I upgrade myself today? Because that is my number one question I ask myself every single day, even to this day, right? Even to this day, is that how can I upgrade Tony Zolecki? Am I leading with the right energy? Do I have the right vision? How are my skills, right? If I want to attract incredible people into my business, do I need to upgrade me? And 99% of the time, you know what that answer is? Yeah, Tony, you need to upgrade you. Get better with your vision. Get better with your skills. You know what I mean? Get better with your energy. Get better with your recruiting. Get better with your conversations.
I find it so interesting that they talk about energy so much. And question for you guys. Do you guys think that they say that because it's something that can't be measured? What I mean by that is when you're looking at social media, there's analytical data available at your fingertips. What's doing well, what didn't do well, and you can look at all the different parameters. You can look at all of the data. But when you have somebody that is mentioning, well, how's your energy? I feel like that's going to be a little bit different for everybody. Somebody might describe Tony as over the top energy or fake energy, in my opinion. I'm watching him and I'm like this. I catch my eyebrows coming up because of his energy. Maybe that's his goal. But to me, it feels over the top and it feels, a little bit fake. That's just my opinion. But I'm just wondering if you guys think that they use these kind of vague terms because it can't be measured. And if something can't be measured, it's easy to move the goalpost around. Let me know what y'all think.
Get better with your live video. Get better with your stories. Get better with your reels. Get better with your messages. I
wonder if he's talking about getting better on social media, how many years has he been on social media? And if so, his social media should be banging. Let me look really quickly while I have you here. at this video, and just a quick scroll. I'm not going to show this, but just for my own information, I mean, he's not getting anywhere near the interaction that he used to get. This video that I'm reacting to, which I think is from August 18th, 42 likes and 58 comments and 2 shares. But if I scroll back to, let's filter it by the year. Let's go back to 2023. I mean, in 2023, okay, 69 comments on this, but it was a family picture. A quote, 132 likes, 34 comments, 2 shares. He definitely got way more interaction than what he's getting now. So if you're going to get on Beyonce's internet in 2025 and talk about improving your skills, then we shouldn't be seeing a decline in your analytics just doing a quick scroll on your social media. That seems like you're not being a product of the product there, Tony.
How can you get better every single day? And see, this is a business, and I'll tell you something, because a lot of times when people get into our business, right, the network marketing business, and they want all this growth and they want all this success and they want all this income. I mean, how many are like this, right? There's a big spotlight that gets pointed on you because this is a voluntary business, right? You can work a couple hours a week. You can work.
What do you mean a voluntary business? A volunteer position you don't typically get paid for. Combining voluntary and business is a little odd to me. Which is it? But again, I feel like I could say which is it at many points in his video from today.
10 hours a week, you can work 50 hours a week, you can work 100 hours a week. You can work as much as you want inside this business, right? You can do as much as you want, as fast as you want. That's your call, right? That's going to be what your decision is. But there's a big spotlight, what I have found, that is shined right in your face on you every single day in this business.
Then turn your ring light down. Let's go back to what he was saying about upgrading himself, because when he went on this whole tangent about upgrading yourself, better vision, better skills, better energy, that whole thing just a couple minutes ago, I feel like that's MLM gaslighting at its finest. If you're not succeeding, it's never the broken model, the oversaturated market, or the impossible math, or in Nueva's case, the lack of scientific evidence to prove that their products do anything. Again, see the Nueva playlist for more information on that. They're always going to blame the distributor. They're always going to blame the person. Oh, you need to invest more in yourself. You need to buy another training. You need to attend another conference. You need to sign up for more coaching. You need to show up to more Zoom trainings. It creates a vicious cycle. People are told that they're failing because they're not growing enough. So they pour more money into personal development while their debt just continues to increase at a substantial rate. And remember when I said earlier about debt and how that works in multi-level marketing? Well, this is exactly how it happens. It's not that you're broken, it's that the system is designed to keep you spinning your wheels while the upline cashes in. And that's how that works.
And again, if you're not getting the results that you want, if you're not finding the people that you want, if your team isn't growing the way that you want, if your business and your income isn't the way that you want. Oh my God, I got to get some water on that one.
Why? Because you're not being honest. I feel like we should all take the opportunity to have a drink of water since Tony has inspired this. So if you've not had any water, have a sip with me, shall we? My ick is multi-level marketing. Okay, anyways.
You know what it is? It's you. It's me. I always look in the mirror and say, okay, what do I got to do different? What do I got to do to be better? What do I got to do? And what lever do I got to pull in my business today so that my recruiting gets better? So that my team gets stickier? So that the volume goes up today?
Go take a shower?
So that my live videos get more engagement, so that the content that I'm putting out.
I mean, clearly you're not pulling that lever, Tony. I mean,
on social media is more engaging and more attractive to my audience, right? What do I got to do to get better? Because when you really commit to that part of upgrading you first, you know what happens? You start blaming other people. You start blaming your team, your company, the comp plan, the leaders that you're working with, the system that you have. The groups that are put together for you to build in and out of, right? You stop blaming all that kind of stuff. And when you do that, you really look at you, right? And I've looked at me, my whole business in 30 years. Like, I have always been the number one common denominator. It's always been me, right? It's always been me. No matter what has happened, it's always been me. And as this spotlight gets pointed on you as you're building a business here, you've got to take this a couple different ways. You got to say to yourself, okay, if I want to bring in phenomenal people in my business, the better that I get, the better people that I bring in. True or false? Somebody put in the comments, true or false? The better that I get, the better people I bring into my business.
What do you guys think? True or false? Let me know in the comments. I feel like I know what you guys are going to say.
Right? Here's another thing. The more you work at recruiting and team building and showing up in a way that, hey, Chrissy, really puts you in a class by yourself, guess what's going to happen? You're going to see your business get stronger. You're going to see your business get bigger. You're going to see your business always having that spice to it, that new life to it, right? You can always tell a team by the person leading that team and the spice and the new life and the growth and the excitement around that team. You can always look at it and go, oh man, look at that team. Man, it's exciting. Wow, it's got all this new life. Man, it's got a spice to it. It's got a culture to it. Man, they got a walk. They got a vibe. Man, they got something that's really engaging and attractive. And that's what you want to have in this business. Is it easy to do every single day? Of course it's not. But you know what we've got to look at is the things that I talked about today. If you're not a crutch for your team and you're guiding, you're encouraging, you're letting them grow through action, you're asking them questions that make them think so that they can be more productive, so that they can be more attractive to people to come inside their business and work and grow and have success, you're winning there. If you stop dragging people across, the line every single day here, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have more energy. You're going to have better growth. You're going to show up different every single day for your business because you stop dragging people every single day.
You know what's ironic though? Those people that he's referring to dragging are the ones that fund the lifestyle of their upline. So he's shaming the people that aren't doing the activities he wants them to do, aren't recruiting more than likely, aren't selling products, aren't showing up for the Zooms. They're still probably ordering the product. They probably still are ordering the product in which he's getting paid off of. Oh, but that's dragging bodies. Yikes.
And then when you understand that you don't need all these rock stars, hundreds of rock stars to be successful, you just need a few runners. And then you look at the people that are showing up, asking the great questions, they're taking the action, right? And you start watering the seeds that are growing, not watering the seeds that are dead. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to start seeing runners emerge that you're like, holy cow, I had no idea.
Only in MLM do they have these weird analogies. How does a seed turn into a runner? I know that I'm being too literal here. I get what he's doing and what he's saying here. But why do they have to have all of these weird analogies? People are not plants. Some people are runners, but plants don't turn into runners.
They were going to be this good. I had no idea they were going to do this much volume. I had no idea they could do a presentation like that. I had no idea they could answer questions and lead and handle objections like that. Oh my gosh, I had no idea they could put as many people into an event that they just did online, and now they're doing that offline as well. Like, I had no idea. You know why? Because you're watering the right seeds. And when you water the right seeds, that all comes back to you. And then you realize that you got to upgrade you every single day.
I just got this visual. Okay, the cup scam thing, but it's like potted plants. There's like 3 potted plants. Tony's doing this training and he's like, water the right seeds, but he's doing this with the pots like, oh, nope, that's not the right. I don't know why. I think I need a snack and I think I need a nap, but that's the visual that I got.
And whatever that looks like for you, you got to figure that out. For me, it's probably different than Melissa. For Melissa, it's probably different than Chrissy. It's probably different for everybody about upgrading you. But when you figure out that it's all about you when it comes to growing in this business, And as you get better, you bring in better people. People start to go, man, I do want to get better. Man, I do want to grow. Holy cow, I do want to get to a new place into my business. Wow, I do want to learn new skills. Thanks, Shannon. Wow, I do want to figure how to go and really get to this place instead of being here for so long in my business. And then when you understand that, getting back to personal production, getting back to not just managing the team, not just managing the managers, not just managing the manager's supervisors. And when you get back to personal production and you get back to always bringing new people into your business from a customer standpoint, a team building standpoint, and you realize that the better you do at growing, the better you do at working with people, the better you do at, getting into this new place you need to be in, guess what's going to happen? It is going to give you so much more confidence and so much more belief, and you're going to really realize, man, I got this. And here's the best part about our business, is that when you can do this the right way, and it's the way I've been talking about, it doesn't come overnight, but it comes with time. It comes with you, committing to this. It comes with you making a decision. It comes with you just saying, hey, you know what? I know I might not be a fast start here. I know that I might not have a 6-7 figure income my first year here, with, the profession or with my new company or with the business that I'm in, and you're okay with that. Guess what's going to happen? It allows you to grow faster personally and in business. Because now you put down all these roadblocks, put down all these crazy expectations. It's okay to say, hey, I want to hit the top spot this month. It's okay to say, man, I want to be number one on the leaderboard this month. Hey, it's okay to say, I want to really be the person in my team that creates the most rank advancements than anybody else. It's okay to have that competitive, friendly competition. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, the expectation is this. If you don't become the number one recruiter, if you don't have the most rank advancements inside your team, or if you aren't number one on the leaderboard, guess what? It's okay, because it was a good competitive goal that you had, and there's a good possibility you did more than you would have did if you weren't having those goals.
Isn't this weird? Is it just me? I'm getting a little sleepy and I definitely need a snack. I can feel that. But isn't this weird? And also, people have these unrealistic expectations because of how they were recruited into these companies. This is so weird. This is weird.
If you want to be number one, for instance, on your leaderboard this month, and say it's 40 people. It's 40 people. That's right. Manifest it, Chrissy. It's 40 people.
Chrissy, you're in a cult. Call your dad.
To be number one. And you don't do 40 people, you do 15 when it comes to new business, right? New customer volume, new distributor volume, new event volume, whatever it is. You do 15. Now, you didn't do 40, but you did 15. Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you had 15 new people inside your business? And for a lot of people, they go back to, well, Tony, it was my first month when I launched my company. That's when I had the most success.
Launched your company? Oh, Tony. We know that that's not true. Launched your company, huh? Okay. Distributors in MLM companies are not business owners. Thank you.
Success. Well, how come is it that when we first launch our business, we have the most success right away, and we don't continue to have that growth? We don't continue to have that success.
Oversaturation. You can only build so much off of your friends and family. Unless somebody is coming from a multi-level marketing company, a previous multi-level marketing company, or they have a large following on social media, most people, that's going to be their exact scenario. They get their friends and family to buy, and then they're like, well, what do I do now? And then they probably go to Tony and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. And he's like, well, what do you think you should do? I just know that's how he is. I have a feeling. I don't know. I have a feeling that that's how he is. Well, what do you think you should do? Well, I don't know, Tony, I'm coming to you because I'm not really sure what I should do. Should I do more live? Should I do this? Should I do that? Well, what do you think you should do? I can feel that in my gut.
We don't continue to have that momentum. We don't continue to have the results we had when we first got started, because we go into management mode. because now we think we arrived, because now we think we can just, coach people every single day. Now leading has become, just telling people what to do without you doing it, right? And these are all the traps that we fall into. And again,
speaking of traps, multi-level marketing, the biggest trap of them all, I feel like.
I'm here not to say Tony is perfect, because I fall into these traps as well. And
says the guy at the top of a multi-level marketing company. I agree with you, Tony.
these are traps that you got to be aware of. So these are traps when you start falling into, you start saying, hey, you know what? That's a trap that now I have to step back because I'm not letting myself go there today. I'm not letting myself go there this month. You know what? I'm going to choose to have a phenomenal month like I did when I first got started in my business. I'm going to choose to enroll somebody new in my business today. I'm going to choose to get a brand new customer in my business today. I'm going to choose to find a runner inside my team that's already here today. I know the next person I recruit into the business, guess what? They're going to have drive. They're going to have excitement. They're going to have, momentum behind what they do. They're going to have fun doing this, and they're going to come in and rock my business, and I'm going to help them and be the best sponsor I can be so that they can win and win big in my business, right?
I mean, affirmations are fantastic for so many reasons, but when those affirmations are for a multi-level marketing company where we know the statistics, we know how it works, we know how they operate, and we know that the majority of people are never going to see that. It just seems like a waste of time and energy.
And that's your thinking all the time. That's got to be how you lean into your business, how you see your business, right? If you can't see a rock star coming into your business, you're never going to have a rock star coming into your business. If you can't see a room full of 500 people in your team, you're never going to have a room full of 500 people inside your team. You've got to see it before it happens. I always remember when I wanted my first $10,000 check. I had a fake copy of a check on my desk that I looked at every single day that said my name on it with $10,000. And why did I look at it every day? Why did I visualize it every day? Because I knew before I got a check in this profession for $10,000, guess what? I had to see it before it happened. I had to believe it before it happened. I had to have that level of confidence before it happened. I had to act like I was already making $10,000 a month before it happened.
I feel like that's straight out of The Secret. People in MLM love that book. I read that when I was in multi-level marketing. That is a thing. It's kind of like 75 hard. By the way, I did a video on that if you want to check that out. Visualization doesn't magically produce MLM income. What produces those checks is recruiting downlines who lose money. Period. That's how that works. It's another form of magical thinking. And I'm not here to come for anybody's beliefs. Believe what you want or don't believe, whatever. All beliefs and lack thereof are welcome here. He's weaponizing this in order to try to get people in his downline to do what he wants while also trying to recruit people that have the same belief system. And while Tony's staring at that fake check, or while he was staring at that fake check, real people are staring at serious credit card bills.
Let me ask you a question. If your check last month was $10,000, how would your attitude be today in your network marketing business? How would your drive be today in your network marketing business? How would your recruiting be today in your network marketing business? How would your show up visibility be in your network marketing business? How many people would you be ATMing in your network marketing business? How many people would you be sharing your story with about your network marketing business? The answer would be a whole lot more than you're doing now. That's the answer. And again, I fell in this trap for years and years and years and years.
Tony, if you're going to make this, how would it feel if you made $10,000 from your MLM business claim? You should probably also provide the facts of the percentage of people in multi-level marketing that make $10,000 in a month. You could, if Nueva had an income disclosure statement, they don't because they're too new, but Modere did. Modere had one. Other MLM companies have an income disclosure statement. I think it would be fascinating to see that statistic. If you're going to say, listen, 4.8, I'm making this up, 4.8% of people in multi-level marketing make $10,000 or more a month. That's being generous, by the way. That's being very generous. I think that would be important to tell people that. Why not just say, and Tony, this is not advice for you, but if you're trying to recruit into this MLM, why not just give that statistic and then say something like, you want to be part of that top 4.8%, right? You want to strive for greatness, right? I don't know. I don't want to give him any tips on how to grow social media specifically.
And then I broke out of that. Why did I break out of that? Because I was just tired of always going, I'm not where I want to be. I don't have the income I want to have. I don't have the rock stars in my team I want to have. My team, it needs to, do more volume because that'll make me more happy.
I guarantee you he has said all those things. I guarantee you in the last 6 months to 2 years, he has that thought daily. I guarantee it, especially in Modair, when numbers were dropping and John Melton was like, hey, is anybody else's numbers down? I think it was something like 25%. Check out the Modair playlist too. I guarantee you he was watching those numbers drop and saying to himself or to Sarah, we got to get this team going again. We got to get this volume up. This is crazy. What's going on?
And that's the thing I used to say to myself all the time for years and years and years when I got started in this business, because I didn't know any better. And I had to learn this stuff. I had to figure this stuff out. And then all of a sudden, man, I started getting more confidence, more belief in upgrading Tony and really doing the business with a full sprint, whether it was for 15 minutes at a time, a half hour at a time, an hour at a time. It's when I could put the time and energy into it. And all of a sudden, rock stars started showing up in my business. And
did those rock stars come from other companies, Tony?
Runners were popping up everywhere. And all of a sudden, people were breaking out. And I didn't micromanage them, right? I was their guide. I encouraged them. I let them grow through their action, asked them great questions, went back and forth with them so that they could learn to go to another level.
Right.
As that was happening, you find another one. And as that is happening, you find another one. And as that is happening, you find another one. It's kind of like spinning plates. Do you ever go to the circus and you're there at the circus and there's on stage and there's the guy on stage and he's on his bike. He's on his bike riding it, right? That two-wheeler or whatever it is, one-wheeler, and he's riding it and he's spinning plates. And all of a sudden he gets a plate spinning, and then he gets another plate spinning, and then he gets another plate spinning, and then they get another plate spinning. And what happens? When that first plate they got spinning starts dying out, he goes back and starts spinning it again. And then he goes to the second plate, it's dying, starts spinning it again. The third plate, spinning it again. The fourth plate starts spinning it again. That's your business. You're spinning plates with your brand new lines, with your people you're bringing into the business.
I don't think that that's the flex that you want it to be, Tony. And I've mentioned the spinning plates analogy before on my channel back in the beginning. So I find that really, maybe it's a coincidence. I feel like I've heard enough from Tony, and I'm sure you guys have as well, because that was a lot. What did we learn from Tony and his motivational mumbo jumbo? Well, Tony Zolecki's message, in my opinion, is the same recycled MLM training that we've been hearing for decades. Focus on a few winners, discard the rest, keep recruiting endlessly, gaslight yourself into thinking that you're the problem, visualize fake checks while your real bills pile up. And behind all of that, we see the same pattern. MLM leaders protecting their image, silencing critics, and disguising a broken business model with motivational fluff. Yikes. Now, if this breakdown was helpful, if you had some lulls, as Brianna Jewell says, hit that like and subscribe button to help me get the word out so people don't become victims of multi-level marketing. I've got a whole Nueva playlist linked in the description so that you can see the full picture of the company and the tactics that they're using. But I also want to hear from you guys. What part of Tony's video stood out the most to you? Was it the $10,000 check, the fake check, the endless recruiting, the gaslighting disguised as leadership? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be down there chatting with you. I absolutely love interacting with you guys, and thank you for being here. And before we wrap, I want to thank Debbie again for sponsoring today's video. Remember to check the pinned comment for the link and all the details. That $5 bonus they give you isn't hype, it's actual money to put towards your goals. If you're working on healing your finances after multi-level marketing, Debbie is a tool that can help. Thanks again for hanging out with me today and laughing with me in my unhinged moments. I'm going to go have a snack and probably a nap. And until next time, you guys, stay critical, stay curious, and most importantly, stay out of multi-level marketing.